This is recording 868868. The name of this recording again is Listen Next 868. It's a part of my podcast series called Speaking to the CIA. You can find me at speakingtothecia.com or christinastation918.com. You can find my podcast on a lot of podcast stations. Just look up Speaking to the CIA. Spotify is one of them. Podbean is one of them. Okay, so I have a couple of recordings to make. It's probably going to take me, I'll probably do them, I will get them done this week. Look at me, I'm just like stuttering right now. My speech is being tightly controlled. This week has been a very extreme extra week. Because the people, Gene Robertson or Manson Occult / KKK, know that I have a very, 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 very famous podcast, and they know they are outed for committing terrorism and running child trafficking rings and committing treason. And so they've been extra, we'll put it that way. What have they been doing? Lying for money, committing terrorism with the money they make, mic drop stunts, just a whole lot of everything that they already always do. It's just at like obscene, like crazy levels in my brain. So I'm like, well, they can only be themselves. Okay, because they're backed into a corner. I have them turned in. I have Jean and her people turned in. So they can only be themselves, and they can only do more of the same. So the only bad effect of it is, for me personally, is like her like impaling like my brain and body, and then me witnessing her antics of her icing my environment, people in my environment, and literally lying to people's faces. And, sadly watching the smugness of individuals who think they've got some golden knowledge information when they just got hustled by Gene Roberts, but I can't do anything about that. But anyway, the bad news is because she can only do more of the same, which means, like I told you, she is a terrorist. She will continue to commit terrorism unless she is arrested. And I'm asking again for you to arrest Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson Occult / KKK. I literally mean it. They are Ku Klux Klan. You guys know that following my podcast. You guys have even confirmed it to me. Anyway, arrest them, put myself and my children in witness protection. This is ridiculous for this level of stress to be put on the United States of America, because the United States of America isn't arresting Jean. So again, I always have to remind myself, if they're not arresting Jean, they're not stupid. They didn't just suddenly turn evil or without moral turpitude, or even pretending to have moral turpitude. Like, to hell with everyone and everything. That didn't just suddenly happen. Which means they're not in a position they're able to do what I am asking them to do, which is to arrest Jean, so this trafficking ring can be stopped, their terrorism can be stopped, and put myself in witness protection, myself and my boys in witness protection. Until then, I'll just keep making reports against Gene Roberts, letting you know every time I find out she commits a crime, and keep you up to date on her usual activities as far as in my environment, in my brain, in my area, that is relative or significant, that is different than what she normally does every second of the day, every day. So, okay. So anyway, all right, let me continue here. So, all right, I'm going to check the news for the week. I haven't checked it this week yet. I know that there was a shooting in Seattle. I know that she did the shooting. Gene Roberts and her Manson / KKK occult. In fact, they're on in my brain right now. They're actually listening to me. I can feel and hear their presence in my brain. They're really, 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 really snotty. Remember I told you how snotty they are? Extreme snotty. Extreme above the law snot. But I can feel their presence on in my brain right now, acting like they're just going to get away with the crime that they just committed. It's the world's slowest, stupidest car chase because we already know who the perp is. We're just like, everybody's just waiting for Jean to be arrested. Meanwhile, Jean and her people just gloat, gloat, gloat. Miss Jean Roberts of Milton, Florida. Anyway, so I will check the news this week and I'll do a podcast. But I've got a couple more podcasts to get through and then I will get to the news. Actually, I'll do the news first. See, she's trying to control my speech because she's trying to control the order of my thoughts. And again, the pausing and the stuttering of my speech, she's controlling my speech. So she's trying to control the order of what I'm saying. I will check the news. I will make reports on the news, and then I will make I will make another podcast and go over more with you guys. Okay, more decode of past and future and present crimes. Okay, so court documents say there were at least 3 shooters at Seattle Food Festival, one among the dead. The shooting occurred during Bite of Seattle, an annual food festival. So what she did was, the first thing I went to go look for, which I know you guys probably went to go look for too, is remember how she cracked the glass in Seattle? I think it was at the Space Needle. She committed, I turned her in for a couple of crimes there. One of them was for cracking the glass, and the other was, I can't remember what the other one was that she did. So I turned her in for committing both crimes. I decoded it, and I turned her in using my podcast. I do use my podcast to press charges against Jean. These turn into actual charges against Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson / KKK occult. So anyway, I pressed charges, made a podcast, proved that she did it. So instantly I went to go see if there was a connection here to that, because she always links crimes together. And Cracked, by the way, goes to, again, see my podcast, see all my decode. So Cracked goes to Mad Magazine. So it's the Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter Mad theme. Okay, which goes to her major terrorism plot that goes back to Genesis. It's been in process and planning since the beginning of time. And specifically, she uses it specifically or notably when she did the Oklahoma City bombing. Okay, she used Mad Magazine as a theme. Alfred P. Murrah building, okay, and the guy's name, the cartoon guy's name on Mad Magazine is Alfred P. Newman. Okay, so anyway, so there is a link there. Okay, so she's using an adjective for the link. Okay, so it's a crowded festival. So the CR would go to cracked glass. Okay, so also in this is Jimmy Crackcorn, and I don't care, she's using that. And so then again, you would know She is the person, Jean Jernigan Roberts, Inner Manson Occult / KKK. She is the person who has stalked me all of my life since before I was born and has had me in a baseball sex trafficking Ponzi since before I was born, which she was also running in the 60s. She's been running it for 60 years. She has stalked my family. She has stalked me, my mom, and my dad's side, and my husband's and their marriages for a very long time. For decade upon decades. For my marriages, which I've proven back to the length of my life. I'm 54. But I don't know how much longer before that. Okay, so also she's using Jimmy, okay, and Jimmy, Jimmy, okay. If you replace the I with an A, and then again she's using an AI reference, then it becomes jammy, okay, and jammy is old slang for a gun. Okay, so Cracker Jack is in it. You know what a Cracker Jack is. It's a Navy uniform. The white uniforms with like the blue collar, and I think with the red tie. And then Firecracker is in it. So you'll see when I get to this in a second. So Firecracker, so I don't know how else she used Firecracker here. It probably is linked to something else. But she is committing this crime now on behalf of Canada. Because Canada is pissed. This is her. She's saying that Canada is pissed about being taxed about the smoke in New York City over wildfires that are happening in Canada right now, which she probably started the wildfires. She's an arsonist. I've caught her starting so many fires, it's insane. I know you guys already know to go check for that. So that's what this is a reference to, is the Canadian wildfires. Okay, so next is Safecracker. You know, Jean Roberts robbed a safe. She robbed the cartel. Hollywood came on in my brain and said she robbed Hollywood and she robbed the mob too. You're going to have to see all my podcasts. You're going to have to see all Decode. Okay. So, and she really did rob them. I really watched her do this in my brain. Because she was bragging about it to me. She puts it in my brain where I can see it. And then she's like, I can tell you this and get away with it. She thinks she's that badass. And the cartel has told me, no, she cannot get away with robbing the cartel. And then, I'm not going to go over all the everything. Just go through my whole podcast. So anyway, okay, so in this also is, okay, so Safecracker is Ron Corning. Okay, so Ron Corning is a newscaster from Dallas, Texas. And I can't remember the name of the call letters of the station right now. I can't remember the name at all. I can see the station, I can't see the, I can't recall the, whatever he's on, whatever news station he's on in Dallas. I think he has a morning show on there. Okay, so it's a Florida reference because Ron Corning used to work at, or used to be a part of the morning show called The Daily Buzz in Florida. And I used to watch The Daily Buzz constantly back a long time ago when I lived in Illinois. It used to make me laugh. The guy named Mitch on the show used to make me laugh. And oh yeah, and he broke the glass. He was on the air, and there was a glass shelf, and he leaned on the shelf and he broke the glass on the air, and it was on this morning news show. He broke the glass. It shocked the ever-living heck out of him. And then next thing you know, he was gone. Like, he got suspended. Like, he was gone, and he came back like a couple weeks later. And I was like, he seriously got in trouble for cracking that glass? I mean, like, where did he go? So anyway, so there's a cracked glass reference there too. So also cracked case is in it, and then carafe is in it, which is a coffee reference. Okay, so she's making a Charles Manson signature by referring to Annie Folger, one of her victims. Okay, and then from there is Carafe, and then from there is Canada tariffs. Okay, and then also in it is SOFA, US, United States of America. Okay, you're going to have to see all my podcasts, see all decode. Remember when I told you I decoded her stalking me and my dad and my stepdad and my mom when I was little, when I lived in Globe, and the white sofa, and the white sofa decodes out, and then it's a part of the White Album, the Beatles. And so she's bragging about like icing my whole family, and this sofa is a part of this. And she iced my stepdad to like cut the sofa in half, which is like a future sign of her crashing, dividing the United States of America. Believe it, this is real. She used my whole life like this. I decode everything. So anyway, so then I realized by decoding even more that SOFA is in the initials of the United States of America. Okay, so, and then I decode even more and realize there's a whole bunch more, which look like Masonic ciphers, because it's all like furniture references, table setting references, and all of that, which she used furniture ciphers, table setting ciphers. She used all of that in committing all kinds of crimes, because that's her shtick, is stealing ciphers and making a hodgepodge stew of all different ciphers. And then I know how to do this. I know how to decode it because she wraps it around my entire life. So anyway, so white sofa, white album is in it, and then again you have cracked glass floor, and then cracked mad AIW. So she committed this crime, and that is the end of this recording.